we're in December already and we're in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I wanted to show you guys how to make something a little bit lighter that happens to be gluten-free and vegan. And it's an awesome salad with quinoa, spinach, and roasted butternut squash that still fits in this holiday kind of mood without being heavy. So stay tuned. You're going to love it. This is a go-to in my house, and just come and check it out. Alright, here we go. We're going to make a salad today. I've gotten a lot of requests for things that are fresh and also gluten-free, which both of those things happen in this dish. We're making a quinoa salad with baby spinach, butternut squash, and we're going to make the dressing as well. First, I want to talk about quinoa. Quinoa is a whole grain that happens to be gluten-free. This I already cooked. I steamed it. In order to cook quinoa, you want to do equal parts of water and quinoa. So you get a pot, you put 2 cups of water, a pinch of salt. Once it comes to a boil, you add your quinoa and then you lower the heat all the way to low, and then you cover it, allowing just a little bit of air to come out. So you don't want to fully cover it, you want to partially cover it, but almost fully covered. Then in about 20 to 25 minutes, the water is going to be absorbed by the quinoa, and the cute little pops that quinoa looks like, they're just going to pop up and puff up a little bit, and it's going to double in volume. So that's what we have here. It's just cooled steamed quinoa. I'm going to walk you through the ingredients really quick. We have a baby spinach. We have a roasted butternut squash. We have a little bit of shaved red cabbage, and that is grapefruit crunch and color, and I just love the taste of it too. We have some little grape tomatoes that we just cut in half, and then the quinoa that we talked about, and we have oranges, and these are fancy oranges. Don't worry, it's not really fancy. This is a supreme, which means it's just the style in which it's cut. So we have some nice Valencia oranges right here, and I'm going to show you. I cut one already, but I want to show you how this happens. So you grab your orange and you cut the ends. Once the ends are out, I'm going to go in a little bit more so I get more of that white out. So basically what we are doing is removing all of the peel, inclusive of the white part of it. So we want to just be left with awesome pops of orange flavor in our mouth. So what we do then is we just come around the orange and we follow the line of the orange, because an orange is not square, so we're just going to go this way. And that's what my knife is going to do. And this is when you want to use your paring knife. This is a paring knife. It's the smallest one in your collection that you might have never used, but it's great for this kind of job. And I'm just coming around, getting rid of all the white in our orange. And don't worry, you'll have a chance to come back and rectify any part that you missed. And then we left some in here, so I'm going to quickly come back and get rid of that white part of it. Is this very necessary? I think for the holidays and for this time of the year, we want to make food a little bit more fancy. But in all honesty, you can just cut some orange wedges and it'll be fine. But you will see that once you're eating this type of orange, you won't have anything left in your mouth. You'll just taste the pure flavor of an orange. I think that's pretty good. Just going to remove a little bit more here. And I want to show you what that looks like. Maybe one more piece right here. So this is our orange. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut in between these lines right here. And that's going to create the perfect segments. So we're going to come in with our knife. And we're going to go down and down at about 45 degrees. And you're going to start seeing this orange segments fall down. Almost there. If you see a little bit more white, you can just get rid of it right now. Almost there on the dish. A couple more pieces of orange. One more right here. And here's the final product of the orange supreme. So I'm going to add them to the other ones that we already did. I'm going to clean up my cutting board, and then we're going to make our dressing. Give things a quick wipe here. So this dressing is easy to make. We're going to make it in a bowl. There's no technology or blender required. So we're going to grab a small bowl, and we're going to grab a couple of cool ingredients. One of them being one of my favorites, which is miso paste. This happens to be a white miso paste. It's a fermented soybean paste. It's readily available in the Asian section. It's going to be refrigerated, so don't be looking for it on the regular shelves. It's going to be refrigerated. If you can't find this, you can certainly make it without it. But if you can, it's definitely a worthy ingredient. You can keep it in your fridge for months. We're going to put about a tablespoon in there. And then to that, we're going to add another cool ingredient, which is maple syrup. We're going with 1/4 cup. And then we're going to allow this to dissolve. What I mean by that is just incorporating the miso and the maple syrup together. And this will act as an emulsifier for our dressing, which is just a fancy word of saying thickener agent. So it's going to thickening agent. So it's going to thicken it up. You can see now how it's all together. And at this point, we're going to add the acidity, because dressings are normally a mixture of oil and acidity. And in this case, the acidity is going to be rice wine vinegar. We're going to go with 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar. This is the seasoned kind, seasoned rice wine vinegar. And once we're there, we're going to add our oil. You can use a neutral oil, like canola, or you can use olive oil. I happen to have some olive oil handy, so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to drizzle in there. It doesn't have to be like a perfect emulsification. It's we're just looking to keep mixing and adding the oil in there. And we're adding about 1/2 cup of olive oil. And that should do the trick. We're going to add some salt and some pepper. And then we're going to mix one more time and taste. And I saw somebody on television doing this once. Instead of tasting it with a spoon, they tasted it with the green that they were going to eat it with. So if you're doing a Caesar salad, you will taste it with a little piece of romaine. In this case, we're doing the same thing. I'm tasting it with the spinach, which is kind of the base for our salad. It's really good. It's sweet and tangy. Needs a little bit of salt and maybe a little bit more maple syrup. And that's it, guys. We're going to start mixing our salad. So in a bigger bowl, obviously, we're going to add our spinach, which is our base for our salad. And we're making a large portion, so this could be a great side dish for the holidays. We're adding the about 2 cups of baby spinach that's nicely cleaned. And then we're going to add our quinoa that ends up being about 2 cups as well. And I'm using my hands. I always like using my hands. As long as you wash your hands, then you should be fine with it. And then I think I skipped this ingredient, but it's cranberries, dried cranberries. Awesome ingredient. It's about 1/4 cup of dried cranberries in there. And then we have the 2 oranges that we subprimed. We're adding that in there. We're adding our tomatoes. We're adding our cabbage that's just been shaved. And we're adding our butternut squash. As you can see, there basically could not be any more color in this dish. It's going to look awesome. And then we're going to add our dressing. We're going to drizzle some of it. We're not going to use all of it, but we are going to use some of it. You can always add more dressing. It's hard if you overdress something to go back. Also a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we're going to mix. I like mixing with my hands. And then the acidity in the dressing is going to start wilting the spinach a little bit. So you want to do this step right before serving. You want it to be still kind of crunchy. I don't know if you can see, you guys can see this plate. Maybe if I bring it a little bit closer to me, it will make more sense. We're going to work this spinach and the quinoa together a little bit. And you will notice it too, like when you're mixing it in the bowl, it was overflowing sort of in the bowl. And as the rice wine vinegar starts doing its job, it's starting to wilt a little bit. And then at this point, we can serve. So using your hands, you're just going to pile it up into your serving plate. And it's an awesome salad. It's really crunchy, refreshing. It's great with, if you wanted to grill some chicken and put it on top, if you want to eat it as is, if you wanted to do a roast and put it on the side, it's great with fish, great with grilled meats. It's a very, very easy to eat salad, and it's the sweetness of it makes it very holiday-like. So there you go. That's our finished product, our spinach and quinoa salad with butternut squash and that awesome dressing that we just made, maple miso dressing. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up a little bit and then I'm gonna taste it and I'll see you guys in 1 second. Alright guys, our salad is awesomely ready. The colors are amazing. I plated myself some so I can taste it. I'm gonna tell you right now that it's refreshing and it's perfect for that between holiday time where you should really kind of go easy because you know Christmas is almost here and we're gonna eat a lot. So let's do this. I love spinach, so I'm a big fan of it. It's great. And it feels like a meal because of the quinoa. And quinoa is high in protein and it's also, as I mentioned before, gluten-free. The sweetness of the butternut squash and the maple syrup combined with the rice wine vinegar is just a hit. I think you guys are gonna love it. I wanted to thank you for just, every week you're following me on the show at Seat at My Table. And I look forward to seeing you next week because I really am enjoying this process and I wanna just hear what you have to say and let me know if there's anything you wanna make with me and any suggestions you might have. I'll see you guys next week.